Hey, Spaz.
Hey,
It's hate week.
arr, it's hate week. Quack.
Mm, okay, we can go with that.
Quack, quacking off. Quack, quack, quacking off. Spaz sits all day and quacks off, then spends his time quacking off. Everyone loves quacking off. Quack, quack, get off.
Yes.
Yeah,
Welcome in, everyone, to the Quacking Off Show here on a Monday night for a change. We will be back Tuesday night for the Washington preview, but we had a special appearance tonight, and we wanted to do a show and take advantage of it, obviously. So, welcome in, everyone. Hit that like, hit that subscribe real quick for us if you can. We really appreciate it. How are you doing, Spaz?
I'm doing great, man. It's like you said, it's Monday. We don't normally do the other stream on Mondays, but it's not often you get parents to come on and get in here. So when we can get a parent on, it's like whatever time works for them, we fit them in on their schedule and kind of go from there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, I'll cancel my end of it on my side, the other side, and we'll do it. Hey, Dragon, and early start here. Hello, O'Duck. Hello.
Oh, hello, Duck. Oh,
Hello.
we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
love this story, Brett.
But yeah, let's introduce our guest. Don't want to waste any time that they have because they have been more than
Gracious.
yeah, to give us their time tonight. Uh for the first time ever, no pressure intended. Their first time on StreamYard. Live. Welcome in our special guest, Mr. Brett Boettcher.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going, man. Thanks for coming on again. Really appreciate it. It's like I was saying, it's tough to get the parents because we know you guys got sometimes just as busy, if not busier, schedule than the players sometimes because some of you got interviews and this and that, and you talking to recruits and recruitments and all those different things that come in as being a parent, and we'll definitely get into all of that. And got some good questions.
Yeah, sounds good. Ask away, and I'll do the best that I can to answer.
Well, first and foremost, yeah, again, thank you for taking the time. But like Spaz said, because again, when you're a parent of an athlete, no matter what caliber, it can be very time consuming. But how is the weather in Eugene right now?
I'm actually up in Forest Grove, so
Oh no! Well, how is the weather in
it
Forest Grove? Because we had tornado warnings here for most of the day in Houston.
yeah, it was it was better than yesterday. Yesterday was miserable. The sun peaked out for a little bit at least today, so I was able to get out and do a little cleanup around the house outside and not be cooped up. Yesterday was just a cooped up day because it was miserable all day.
Yeah. Yesterday was pretty nasty.
But the days that you want to have be miserable, I mean, if you have to have them miserable, and it's nice to have it on, a Sunday where you can just kick back and watch football all day.
Yeah, as long as it's not like a Saturday with a Wisconsin or an Iowa. Ugh.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it's not a whole lot of fun sitting out in the pouring down rain, but I would rather sit in the pouring down rain when we're playing a football game than, sitting in a duck blind or something like that.
Right?
Yeah. You're out on the river trying to catch a fish.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, Spaz, you had some, I know, some questions. Obviously, there's a lot to cover, so let's kind of dive into some of these. I'll let you go to Spaz because obviously there's a lot of
Well, I just, I guess you know, what, what was it like with Bryce growing up, getting him going into being a, what got him to go into the two sports? And I know mostly initially, he was pretty much into baseball more than anything. What got him into football as well?
Well, I'll take the blame for it. When I was I don't know how long have you lived in Oregon?
I'm a lifelong Oregonian. I've been here my whole life.
But
I'm
how
in
old are you?
Vancouver right now, but I'm 57.
Okay. Okay, so you'll know when we were kids, there was so much timber revenue in the state that all the sports, like you started in fifth grade, at least I grew up in Roseburg. So back then in fifth grade, there was football, basketball, and track and field. And all the sports were coached by teachers and they were all funded. So there was, nobody had to pay for anything. So I'm not going to say every kid played, but it was 2 hours after school of teacher supervised babysitting where they're teaching the kids sports. So everybody played, it seemed like, and it
Yeah.
was phenomenal. I mean, so I fell in love with sports in grade school. I played everything that there was, and it was great for the community, great for parents, great for the kids. And that's where my love started. But because of that, you played everything, and it seemed like everybody did. I mean, I played soccer, football, basketball, wrestled, ran track, and played baseball. So that was just my upbringing. You just play whatever that was, and you played with your buddies, and when
Yep.
even when you weren't, on recess, you were out playing sports. That's just what we did, so I just grew up with it and just had a huge passion for it and loved it. So I kind of passed that on to my kids that, hey man, play everything.
Nice.
Yeah, I can agree with that though. Baseball was one of those. Baseball was too. I mean, I played baseball a lot as a kid, and basketball even. I think in 2 seasons I scored 3 points in basketball, so I was terrible at basketball. But baseball, yeah, baseball is a big one. It's a simple one. Football, there's quite an expense to play football compared to baseball. If you have to provide the uniforms and the pads and all the extra stuff, there's a lot of different expense that takes to run the football program. So,
it was, so we had an advantage back then that because there was so many tax dollars because of the timber, that everything was funded and everything was free and everybody had the opportunity. So one thing I may be jumping ahead, but I remember, I don't know if it was as Bryce started to get more serious about it. Luckily I had excellent coaching and was pretty good myself. And so I had a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge and knew how to coach him and give him the appropriate training that he needed. So I didn't have to go out and hire private coaches or put him into club scenarios. I felt like that I could give him what he needed when he was younger. And then I made contact with a couple of coaches in baseball that were like me, had a ton of experience, and we kind of worked together through the high school and then the Legion program to get him that experience. So we didn't have to do the travel ball, which it's kind of gone that way now, a lot of it with baseball. But it was like, man, if we can, show that you can still do this without having to fork over tons of money. It's like, I don't know if people would want to hear the story of that, but there is a way, if you want to do it, where you can still do it on a budget, so to speak. It may be harder. You don't get as much exposure as you do playing travel ball and stuff like that. But I think it's beneficial to play all the sports and experience that, because it teaches you competition, camaraderie, you're meeting a diverse group of kids in other sports instead of just being with the same kids year round. It just helps diversify and gives you a better life experience and a better perception of different people. And there's so many benefits to doing it that I would encourage kids or
American
parents
Legion
to.
ball is great. I remember growing
Yeah.
up on that, and I grew up down in Albany, Eugene area, and so I spent a lot of time at OSU, a lot of time at Oregon, different events and things growing up. Um, More in Corvallis because we were like right there, and my parents had friends who were OSU boosters. I went. I don't know how many times I went to Ralph Miller's house as a kid. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old for events for Beaver boosters and basketball and stuff. But I was never really. I don't know. I was never into the orange and black. I was always into the green and yellow.
Right. Yeah, I went to Ralph Miller's basketball camp. That was like one
Yeah,
of the
so did
best
I.
experiences I had as a kid. Turned
I,
my
s-
basketball career around.
I still got Ken Symington's autograph from the like '79 football team, I believe it was, with Joe Avisano coaching. They were just
Uh-huh.
terrible.
I always have to
Yeah.
clarify.
So
I have to clarify
go.
too, because everyone, when I said earlier, I said Houston. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're in Texas." Okay, I grew up in Oregon. Okay, I left at 18 for the military, so I was like, "Okay, I grew up in Oregon." All right. Everyone's always like, "Why are you an Oregon fan?" Because I still have an Oregon number, even. I still
Right
have a
on.
541 number. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, no, the Legion, yeah, that's what I grew up with. And Roseburg back then was a power in Legion baseball. Along, Corvallis, Ritchie's
Yep,
Market, and
Richie's
like,
Market. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yep.
So yeah, when you kind of grow up with that, I had such good memories, and it was such a community based thing. That the town got behind you. That when Bryce was coming up, I wanted to try and have him experience that great. We were in Eugene, so it was a little bit different because it didn't have the small town backing, so to speak. But I wanted him to experience that, plus set an example of, hey, if you really want to do something, but you don't necessarily have the means to do it, there's ways to do it. If you want it bad enough, there's ways to do it. And so, yeah, it worked out good. And then when he was with the Ducks, Bennett Thompson from Medford, he was the same. He came up through the Legion baseball. So there's I guess the message is, and I'm not trying to knock travel ball or anybody that does that stuff. If you have the means to do it, and the area that you're in, if that's the best option, then yeah, by all means, go that route. But there are also options if you don't have the means, or if you're not in an area where that's available to you. There's ways to still reach the highest levels. It may be harder, but there's still ways to do it.
Yeah, and now even more so with social media and stuff, the kids can, they can have friends and themselves and others that can help push their stuff out there. Whereas when we were kids, we didn't have that. It was all word of mouth. That
Right.
was the only way you got recognized, was word of mouth.
Right.
You told me about your kid, and I told Ben about your kid, and eventually we found the connection to get your kid to that next level.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you can still do that. It's so yeah, you're still able to do it. I guess the biggest message is I don't ever want a kid to be discouraged that he thinks that he doesn't have an opportunity, because there are ways for every kid to have an opportunity. Like I said, it can definitely be harder for certain kids from certain geographic areas, or if you have a small town kid that isn't in the mainstream areas, it's definitely going to be harder for him to get to where he gets that higher competition, but it's doable. So I don't ever want a kid to be discouraged and think that he can't create an opportunity for himself, because you never want to sell a kid short.
Well, and I think in, for instance, like what we're doing here, talking tonight, like with Bryce, is a great example of perseverance. Of I'm going to take a shot and show what I can do, and that's good upbringing and molding and just self perseverance to go. I can do this.
Yeah, that's kind of how I don't know if it's a family trait of ours, but I've always gotten a kick out of somebody telling me I couldn't do something. It's like, oh yeah, we'll see. And then when I accomplish it, I don't know. Maybe it's dumb pride to some degree, but I've always been that way. If somebody tells me I can't do something, well, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong, because I damn sure can.
Oh, I will not rage quit. I will push.
Yes, I
Don't
will not
ever
give
tell
up.
me I can't.
If you're going to beat me 999 times, you're going to beat me 1,099, and you're going to have to do it every time, because I'm going to show up.
So, for instance, for Bryce, with the baseball perseverance, obviously walked on, did amazing center fielder. Was football ever part of his growing up, or was that just something he kind of wanted to do it while he was at Oregon? Just like, why not? Like,
no, he was actually more highly recruited for football than he was for baseball.
oh, okay.
He was a 3-star. He was right around 50th ranked dual threat quarterback in the country for his class. He got invited to the Elite 11 competition and went to the LA regional. He was there with CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, and did really well. Bryce could have been a high level Division I quarterback. Now he wanted to play both sports, and that was kind of, I don't know. He loved them all, and it's like, if you're going to set a goal and dream big, why not dream really big and just go for it? So, he said that he wanted to do both sports in college. And, through my experience, I realized that if you were to go in on a football scholarship, they're the ones paying the bills. So unless you're like a John Elway or a guy like that, they're probably not going to let you play baseball. Or, you may have to go in and establish yourself as a stud on the football field, and then say, hey, dictate your terms and say, hey, I want to go and try baseball. The problem is going from high school baseball to the D1 level of baseball. In my opinion, if you take time off, you're going to be so far behind, you're not going to be able to pick it back up. Football, if you're a good athlete and have the right mentality, if you're a football player, you're a football player. Now, a baseball player and a good athlete at the lower levels, you can have success, but going to that D1 level where you're seeing 90 miles an hour, if you've never seen that before, and I was a stud in high school, now I take 2 years off, and then I come back, and all of a sudden I'm at 90 miles an hour at the D1 level, I don't think you're going to be able to make it. So I told Bryce, if you want to play both, you need to go and play baseball first and establish yourself there. It's fresh. You've played baseball your whole life. He's always been excellent at it. You're going in from, unfortunately, his senior year got canceled because of COVID, his season.
Yep.
But he already knew that he was going to Oregon. And so it's just that the freshness of it. You've seen it, you're doing it, and then you go in, and it's going to be a struggle. They all struggle for a certain amount of time going from high school until they can get the timing down of that 90 mile an hour pitching. But I told him, go in and establish yourself in baseball. And then if you still want to do both, then you can revisit the football. And then when Coach Lanning got hired, and apparently there was a tweet that went out for walk-ons, and Bryce called me up and says, "Hey, I still got the bug to do it." And I said, "Well, go talk to your baseball coach, because you're on a baseball scholarship now. You need to get his blessing." And
Yeah, you have to get cleared from them, right?
well, I
In
mean, I
theory.
guess you could play hardball, but my attitude is it's always best to get somebody's blessing.
Right.
And so, go have a man-to-man with them and tell them what you think. And, fortunately, Coach Wazakowski gave him the green light and actually set him up, set up a meeting with him with Coach Lanning. And then, Bryce just took it upon himself and was like, "You're not going to deny me." I mean, they tell the stories of, Lanning making him run all the time because he was lighting guys up in practice. And he would call me up, and I said, "Well, keep doing it until they put you on the field." I mean, it's like, what do you want? This is football, man. I understand that you don't want guys to get hurt, but then put me in the lineup and let me do it to the other team. So he kind of he forced the issue to a certain degree, but that's kind of the way that I've been. It's like, give me an opportunity and let me work, and I'll show you that I deserve the opportunity. You're going to be happy that you did, because I'm going to be reliable. I'm going to show up and get the job done. And that's kind of how I was raised. That's how he was raised. And it makes me proud that he's carrying on that legacy.
Yeah, it's funny because you hear like the last couple of games, people are like, "Why are they practicing so hard? I thought it was a bye week, and now we got more injuries." And and it's like, but that's, like you said, that's the way Lanning is, and it's that kind of culture. And guys like Bryce, who went in there when given their opportunity and laying guys out and going 150 miles an hour, those are the kind of guys Dan Lanning wants. That's why a guy like Bryce is where he's at now, because he's got a coach like Dan Lanning who sees the motor, the physical skills, and the mindset of these guys want to win.
Yes.
And those are the guys I want.
How did I have a quick question too? How did Bryce end up as a linebacker then? From quarterback to going to linebacker, was there just a personal drive? Was that a coaching decision? Like, what was kind of the motivation to go from? I mean, it's not unheard of to go from offense to defense or anything like that, or vice versa. Like corner to wide receiver, etc. But quarterback to linebacker, that's a bit of a transition.
Well, okay, so to back up a little bit, when he said that he wanted to do both, I told him, I said, well, then you're probably, the quarterback is out the window, because the same deal, the same principle that you have, in order to go from high school baseball to the D1 level of baseball, you can't give it up. You have to be focused on it 100%. Well, same thing at playing quarterback. The quarterback's the one position. It's not, I'm going to quit playing quarterback for a couple of years after high school and then go back to college and try and pick it back up. Well, you're going to be so far behind. Any other position in football, you can pick it back up. A quarterback, obviously, there's so much to it. So that was, he had to give up the quarterback dream to follow the baseball dream. But he played linebacker and safety in high school, and he was excellent. If you ever want to Google or go to his huddle highlights, and you'll see what I'm talking about. His high school huddle highlights, and they speak for themselves. When you watch him, he was pretty impressive in high school, defensively and offensively.
I had no clue he's a quarterback till you said that tonight.
Yeah, no, like I said, he was, people may think, oh, that's his dad talking. Go look at his huddle highlights from high school and tell me, and then give me your opinion of whether you think he could have played D1 quarterback.
I literally put in the private chat to Spaz right now. When you said that, I was like, I had no idea. That was new knowledge to me, because like now you see him as a linebacker knowing he's a center fielder, and it's like it makes sense.
Right. Well, he never played outfield in high school. He was a shortstop.
So now, but
What?
they put him in.
So
Damn.
he switches from high school shortstop to outfield
Yeah,
in
and
college?
the first position that I ever had him play when he was 5 was catcher.
That makes sense.
He's played, learned the game from that position, and actually he played. I made him. I don't want to sound like a domineering ass, but it was important. I made him play every position because you want to know every position, and the more tools you have in your belt, the better, the more opportunities you're going to have. So play every position, but yeah, he was an excellent infielder, but I could see the potential of him playing in the outfield, and
that was like when they said. That was like when when Mookie Betts switched, not this year but last year to shortstop, and everybody was like, "What are they doing? What is he doing?" Yeah. And like he said, I played it when I was in high school, and I just, that was when I was in high school, I played shortstop. Then I went to the outfielder, and then he got, Miguel Rojas and a few other guys taught him along through the year, kept him motivated and kept his confidence level to where by the end of the year, he just was like rock solid.
Yeah.
I think
I always never known.
I looked at it, the hardest thing to do in baseball is hit. And so to get an opportunity to play, it's like if you can play all 8 positions. I mean, he pitched too, but it is at the combine for the MLB tryouts. He, threw 94 from the outfield to the infield, so he could pitch.
Yikes!
So the point being is that if you can play every position, you don't always have to be the top hitter. You just have to be one of the top 8 or 9 on the field, and you're going to get an opportunity if you can hit one of the top 9 hitters and you can play any position. That was my theory. So
that's a correct theory because baseball, I've played it and I pitched before too, and my elbow couldn't handle that. I threw too hard. I didn't have the right mechanics for it, but the same thing, like him, if he can do that, if you can throw, like, say, from right field, center field to home plate with just a bounce, you should be in the outfield. You've got the arm strength to throw the ball. But if you know every position and you can actually function and operate properly at every position on the field, you're more valuable to a team also, because if something happens, you can step in and fill in. So you're just creating more value for yourself to be like, hey, I'm competent and talented enough. I can be first baseman today, shortstop tomorrow. Hey, I can fill in as catcher if something happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So he has that ability. Like I said, he has, obviously, he did play second base at Oregon, but he played shortstop for the Bend Elks his first summer out. So yeah, and I know that he could catch. So he does have the ability to play any position out there if they needed him to.
And I don't want to downplay baseball, because everyone who plays baseball has a talent at a certain position, obviously a specific talent. But there's a huge difference from going from, like you said, like quarterback, you take a year off a linebacker. Okay, there's a difference between doing linebacker and like cornerback at a Division I level compared to like playing first base or second base in baseball. There's a disparity gap there because the linebackers are built different than your corner.
Right.
So.
Well, and it's 2 different sports. I mean, you can. The thing about baseball is you can be an all-world baseball player and you can be 5'6". The thing about, you look like what was it? The guy from Japan that played for the Mariners, the leadoff guy, now
Ichiro.
Altuve with the Astros.
Yeah, Altuve with the Astros.
He's amazing. So. It's like, in football at that level, you have to be a certain size or you have to have a certain amount of athletic ability. But in baseball, if you can friggin' hit the baseball, I mean, you're not held back by your size limitations in baseball like you're in football or basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's
'Cause-
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What? What do you think Bryce's? I mean, now that he's, he's already been drafted over in the MLB, and and now he's probably going to be. I would say, God, no worse than third, fourth round, in my opinion. I mean, what does that do? I mean, that's a tough decision on somebody because it's like, well, if I take this over here, I lose this, but yet if I lose this, I mean,
Well,
wow.
the beauty of it is the Astros. I think the reason they do it is they kind of see the value that they have with him because they're keeping his rights for 5 years.
Oh,
So he's going to have the opportunity to explore football and see where he can go with that. And if that doesn't work out, he can go to the Astros or not even if it doesn't work out. If it works out and he does it until he wants to go back and play baseball. So the doors are open.
Yeah, and that's it's a lot easier with baseball door opening than it is of football in a lot of levels. So that's a big difference.
We've talked about this too, in that, like I said, to go from the high school level to the D1 baseball level, you have to go baseball. I mean, if they'll let you play football too, great, but you can't take time off from baseball. Now, the NFL opportunity, it's like you got to take it when the opportunity's there. He couldn't tell the NFL, hey, I'm gonna go play baseball for a couple of years, and maybe I'll come back and play with you guys.
Gone.
Doesn't work that way. He's gonna have to go. He's gonna have to go with the NFL and keep working on his baseball. And maybe he'll have some opportunities to play in the off season and stuff like that. But you see what I'm saying? It's like now he's got to chase that NFL.
Hey, maybe he is the next Deion Sanders. Who knows?
Well, like I said, you friggin' dream big and set lofty goals, and then you strive to meet them.
Yeah.
At minimum, like you were saying, he's got his rights for the Astros for that time frame. I mean, at worst case, he could at least do a rookie contract in the NFL and then still fill in before the end of the rights with the MLB and move on to that. So at least cash in with what you can do. But if you get a second hefty contract and you're like, I love it, and you're really good, then you stick with the NFL. I mean,
then you know where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember my dad always used to tell me, the more opportunities you have in life, the better off you are, because then you're not pigeonholed into whatever it was. I didn't do the greatest job of listening to him because I was smarter than he was, I thought. So
yeah,
I always tried at least tried to pass that knowledge along to my kids, and they did a better job of listening to me than I did listening to my dad.
Well, and thinking about that, there was a question because we were talking about the Astros and what it was like. And speaking of someone to be on my other stream here, Frankie has a question here. It's primarily was finishing. I think he already graduated last year, correct?
Yeah.
He graduated this year. He was just coming back to football to work on that
because he had the COVID.
The COVID super senior year, basically, or whatever they want to call it. But was finishing it, coming back this year, primarily his idea, or was a little bit of boost of confidence from you, or how did that work? Because that was a huge choice instead of going straight to the Astros.
Yeah, it was. He just, I don't know how. I mean, it was through the grapevine that he probably would have gotten drafted late rounds last year for football. And so they were able to get him an extra year of eligibility. And so it's like, I mean, the main thing was being a lifelong Duck. And you're never going to get to experience what he's experiencing right now again in your life. It's like, well, he wanted to come back and frigging fight for his school and his community and the fans, and being a lifelong Duck. That's what his main motivation was to come back. Also, an opportunity to start working towards his master's degree. And then if he, comes back and has another big year, he's going to improve his draft stock for the NFL. So he bet on himself with the, he has the confidence. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show that I belong at this level and belong in the NFL, because I'm going to come back and do what I did again another year to show that I'm consistent, put on some more weight, because now he's just focusing on football. So he has that confidence that he's not going to be denied. So the upside of coming back was good, and the upside of being able to represent his community and his university and people of Oregon for another year, it was like, and work towards his master's. It just seemed like a no-brainer for him, and I kind of agreed with him. If it were me, that's what I would do.
Yeah, and it was a good decision, because when I saw him come out of fall camp, I was like, holy Jesus.
Right.
I was Bryce put on some muscle.
Yeah.
He was
And
like
he was already big last year.
It was like 20 pounds or something. I think that they said during the offseason he put on like something like 20 pounds, which kept up the speed, but obviously that's bigger than he'd like to be for baseball. But for a linebacker position, that extra weight and muscle helps be durable.
He wanted to put on the weight, and I get that, but I told him, you're the thing that you have that you can't coach is speed. And so I said, yeah, go ahead and put on the weight, but if you lose your speed, I mean, you're
better
to me
back
the speed
off.
Yeah, the speed's more important than the extra weight. But he seems to think, and I watching him on the field, it doesn't seem like he's lost any speed. So
no, he's still. I mean, he was leading tackler on senior day last week. I mean,
yeah.
I mean that's insane.
The first time Spaz and I watched, it was what was it? It was a 2020. Was it a 2023 spring game then, Spaz?
Yeah, I think it was. Then I said, I said, watch out for Bryce Boettcher.
Yeah, we were
he was playing safety.
Yeah, I don't watch. I don't watch the baseball team.
Boettcher. I said he plays baseball. He came on as a walk-on. 23 was the walk-on year, right?
Actually, walked on in 22. 22.
Okay, but 23 was when he really got his first got more time and whatnot. Yeah. And that's why I had noticed him. Yeah, it must have been a couple of games at the end of the 22 year. And I was like, this kid's playing baseball. He's local and he's trying as a walk-on. And as we saw a couple of hits in the spring game, and I was like, whew, God.
Yeah, I was just like, this guy is everywhere. Just everywhere. I was like, okay.
Well, that was after that 2023 spring game. That's when the coaches, went to him and said, we can leave you at safety, but if we move you to linebacker and you gain a little bit of weight, you're gonna see the field. You're gonna have a quicker path to the field moving to linebacker than you are at safety. And so he was all in on it, and I still think he would have been a hell of a safety, but it worked out. And I think at the next level, he's, because of his speed, that I don't know, I could see him playing a hybrid safety linebacker deal, but he also linebacker. I don't know how fast you have to be now in today's NFL, how fast you have to be. It's not as a safety.
They're saying one of the issues with a lot of the linebackers these days is that they're not quick enough to keep up with like the slant and crossing routes and whatnot. So if a guy like Bryce, who's played safety and linebacker, that has that speed, that can take the linebacker position and still cover a guy coming across or on a slant, that's going to be a double bonus for him, because now he can cover two positions in one.
See, my comparison for Bryce at the NFL, because he was a guy, I think he was maybe a little younger, maybe the same age as John Lynch. He was a baseball, football guy. Yeah. And Lynch, he came downhill and he brought the lumber, but I don't know how. But back then it was it was a different game back then than it is now. So maybe, moving Bryce to linebacker, that's what the coaches said. You're going to have a better.
Nope.
We lost your mic. There you go.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah. It just went off for a minute.
Okay.
Technology is great when it works.
John Lynch is a great analogy because that guy was all over the field and he could cover multiple positions, and now he's the GM, and maybe we can keep Bryce on the West Coast and get Lynch to go get him.
Yeah, no, I'd like to sit down with Lynch and say, hey, doesn't this kid remind you of you? Although he's playing linebacker, but when he was at safety, he reminded me of Lynch because he brought it like Lynch did.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But
Yeah.
How fun was it to watch also, by all means, because this is one thing I love of the Dan Lanning is that, hey, let's put Bryce as a running back and let him get a touchdown this last week too. Like, not many coaches will do that. And I like the comment. They were like, what did you guys do this week to practice for that? And he's like, I just love these guys and want to give them the opportunities.
Right.
Because not many teams put a linebacker as running back next to the quarterback and direct snap to them for a with the defensive line in front of them as blockers.
I hope that Oregon fans appreciate how fortunate we are to have Lanning as our coach. I mean, he's just a legit guy. I mean, he gets it. He's not only a great coach, but he's just a quality human being. So, yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Coach Lanning. And yeah, he's been phenomenally good to Bryce and for the program. And he's all about all the right stuff.
I think he's the best thing to ever come to Oregon, and I've been through, like you, I've been through the Fog Bowl and the Mud Bowl and
Are you both disparaging the great name of Mario Cristobal and that we would not take him back as our head coach? No, both of you. How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
It's just it's funny how karma works, and you think you're not in a good situation, then all of a sudden you just get blessed with this phenomenal situation because of the situation that went away. Yeah, I don't want to be negative. We're just going to say how lucky we are that we got Coach Lanning.
100%. I have nothing against Mario Cristobal, but I knew that it was, everyone agreed in the administration said it was a time for change when they didn't even fight for it. But then to go pluck Dan Lanning and go, we want you for your first time to be a head coach here.
Yeah.
And well,
I remember being in the Twitter spaces and people were jumping off cliffs. Oh my God, what are we doing? Who is this guy? I can't do it anymore. Why, Mario? Why?
Right.
We were talking people off ledges for a while.
You're right. Yeah. Well, yeah, people get passionate and sometimes they don't see things through a lens that's accurate at times, but I get it. I mean, I've been fired up about the Ducks a lot of times over my lifetime too, and wondering why are they doing this or why are they doing that, but they damn sure got this one right.
Yeah. This has been a blessing. It's just watching this team the last 4 years with Lanning and the improvements and people are like, oh, he can't win the big game or he chokes here and there. I'm like, yeah, but he's 44-7 in 4 years. How many coaches do you know that have that record? Oh, wow. Like you're going to expect the guy to win it the first time? I mean,
yeah. No, he's getting better. He gets better every year. I mean, people forget. I mean, I remember when I was 38, 39 years old, a totally different person than I am now.
God.
So
I couldn't even imagine trying to run a high school football program, let alone a D1 college football program like Oregon at 39. I am 39, and I couldn't. My head would explode. I would just quit day one.
The reflection that he has for that age, for being a young man, to see, hey, I need to improve here, I need to improve there, and to, be willing to ask other coaches and take advice and things like that. I mean, it's uncanny how well-rounded he is. His parents did a damn good job with him.
Yeah, he's a very fascinating guy, and I got my media credentials for the first time this year, and I've gotten to 2 games, and the first one was like I didn't really know what I was doing, so I didn't end up going into the media area afterwards. And now that I've been around a little bit more, I've been down on the field a few times, and now next year I think I'll be ready to go into the full media aspect.
Okay.
And don't cheer in the press box.
Don't cheer in the press box. You don't put a lifelong Duck fan who's finally living his dream at almost 60 years old, and he gets his first shot in the press box, and he's like, go, go, go.
Well, I've never been afraid of telling somebody what I think. And so that's the other beautiful thing about Coach Lanning is I analyze everything that he's doing. And that's how I say there was a couple questionable calls that I thought he had, like in the Washington game early on, and he's gotten better and better and better. And it's like, man alive, that's all anybody can ever ask for, is that when you do something and you make a mistake, that you learn from it and you make the improvement on it. And he's done that year after year after year. So yeah, it's just
they got weird rules up in the press box. I'm sorry if it's me, if I'm the coaching and people and all that or whatever. I'm sorry, I'd want my people in the press box cheering. That's just me. I mean,
right.
Look at that guy. He's having fun up there. You know?
Well,
I guess they don't like that, though.
Well, like Brett just said, too, is, I mean, because I had to do a solo post game, the first Lanning game against Georgia, and I was solo on a post game live coverage of it. And I was like, okay, deep breath, everyone. Deep breath. This is going to be difficult, but there's a transition period. But all you've seen is the progression and changes, like you were just saying. He looks at everything, says, okay, this is wrong. What can we do better now? Like he says, every Monday we go to the doctor and they look at themselves critically, and he's not afraid to call out people and go, you didn't do this right. You didn't do this right. Now let's go fix it.
That was like Saturday's game when Benson got that unsportsmanlike called on him and went inside the 3 and then backed us up to the 18. And as soon as he went over to the sideline, Dan was just like, he was on him and he was just telling him, you don't do that.
Right. But he also has the wherewithal. It's like with my kids. I mean, I have lit my kids up when they had it coming, but then you go back.
But then you pat them on the back of the head, afterwards,
and you bring them back in and you say, you know what, you can't be making those types of mistakes, and my job is to keep you in line and not allow make you aware of the fact that you can't make those mistakes because you're hurting other people by making those mistakes, hurting yourself or hurting other people or hurting your future, whatever the case may be. But then you got to show them love and bring them back into the family. And so it's not all just ass ripping all the time. There's a place for that, but there's also, it's about love and family. And he just does a phenomenal job of that.
Yeah. And yelling at someone on the field, like after a dumb mistake, that's just, you're in that moment. You're in that stage of the game, whatever it reminds me of Mario Cristobal, even on the sideline that one time, I can't remember who it was. He was a true freshman. He caught his first touchdown. He got unsportsmanlike, and Mario did the headphone smash. took off his headphones and just threw it. They caught it perfectly on TV, and then he yelled at him. Then he pulled him aside later, though, and was like, "It's okay. It's okay." But when you're in that heat of that moment, just going,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?"
Well, it's okay as long as you don't do it again. I mean,
Yeah.
people have to be held accountable, and that's part of being held accountable. When you screw up, and when you screw up big, you have to expect that there's going to be a hammer that comes down, and then you hold them accountable. And then after you've held them accountable, it's like bring them back into the fold and let them know how much you care about them and stuff. But don't forget the lesson of what you did, that where you screwed up, and we're not doing that anymore. That's
Right.
not going to be part of our team, because that's not a winning culture. And he does just a phenomenal job of that.
Mistakes are how people learn. Having
Absolutely.
mistakes. And I'm sure Bryce could admit the same. He's probably gotten torn a couple times from Lupoy and Lanning. And what did he do? He learned from it, and they were like, well, let's do this differently. And then they changed things.
The Texas Tech game last year, Ben was at that game, and
Stop talking about the tortillas. Sam got hit in the face by one. It brings back traumatic experiences.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, yeah. God, we've been doing this show a while. Jeez.
I know. I forget how long we've been doing this.
I know. Jeez, we're wrapping up our 3rd season. We haven't killed each other yet. This is amazing. We're the only 2 that survived. We started with 4 of us.
Yeah, the tech game was fun. That was a heart pounding, just heart attack experience. But that was a fun one on Lubbock.
That was kind of Bryce's coming out party. He sacked Tyler Shuck, and that was like his first big plays, so to speak, at this level. Yeah,
wasn't it Bryce that got the pick that game?
No, that was
he sacked the quarterback, forced a fumble, and he didn't get the recovery of it, but it was a big play. And then just obviously the way that it ended with the Bossa interception and the touchdown, and
Bossa,
that was a season. That was I think that there was that the Washington State game too that season where we were behind and then came back and won up there.
Yeah, we were down the whole game, down by 2 scores in the 4th quarter with like 5 minutes to go, and then we won that game with 2 late scores.
That might have been the year before too.
I think that was the year before. I think that was Dillingham, and then Texas Tech was Stein's first year.
Okay.
I think Washington State was still Dillingham as the OC.
Okay.
I think that was the first year. I know. Right. When we started talking about it, sometimes it's like sometimes we get games and years mixed up sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd have to look. I think that was Dillingham the first year. I think that was the first year.
Yeah,
and
that might
Texas Tech was with Stein the second year. Yeah. Brett got a phone call. Hopefully it's not Bryce going, get offline. What are you doing? Stop talking about me. We told him this would happen, so we're not alarmed. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
He'll be back in a second.
It's Bryce telling him, get off there. You're embarrassing me.
Noted too, if anyone has any questions for Brett, anything, especially Duck related, Bryce related to the Ducks this season or whatever, drop them in the comments and we'll see if we can get to them as we go on. But that's so far we've covered a lot of information right now. He might be figuring out how he needs to get back in here. He might be texting you, Spaz.
I'm watching just in case.
Yeah, the thing with doing streaming on a phone call or on the phone, when you get a phone call, it blacks out. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it doesn't override it makes sense. I guess the phone call will override the app you're using, but at the same time, we'll see.
Hey, Doc, can you hear me now?
There we go.
We can hear you now. Yeah, we figured you got a phone call because.
Yep, I did. Let me see if I can log back in now. Then.
Shouldn't have
It-
to. Just open the
it's-
app again. There it
it
is.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier. I was like, when you get a phone call, though, it will
You go black.
it will cancel out
Yeah.
StreamYard. So there you go. Here's a question also. Did the touchdown Bryce got, did he keep the football?
He didn't tell me. I don't know if he did or not.
Oh, wow.
Most people do keep their first touchdown football, just for namesake. But to him at this point, maybe it doesn't even matter. He's got a Bullsworth trophy.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know if is that a NCAA violation if somebody getting a gift that somebody else doesn't get, though. I don't know if if they'll hit.
Does
Yeah, I
the NCAA even know? Probably
Well,
not.
yeah, I don't know.
I always thought you got to keep your footballs.
Yeah, that I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
I mean, it's not a bad little memorabilia to put next to the Bullsworth trophy. His trophy for the best walk-on last year, to put like offensive touchdown.
First
Yeah, he did get
touchdown.
He got a ball for the senior day festivities, so
Oh, okay.
maybe he can write something on there that was his. Although it's white and brown, but
Yeah.
he could write something on there. Scored a touchdown on this day.
Yeah, there you go.
And whatever works. Yeah, not everyone keeps it. Who did that? It was someone else did that. They threw like the most touchdown passes and they didn't keep the ball or something. There were even the announcers one game were like, "What are they doing?" They like threw it in the stands or something.
Oh, you know what I heard today also? Thank God Saturday is the last call of Gary Danielson.
I'll be darned.
He's finally retiring. I'm like, God, do I have to get... How many times do I gotta listen to these two?
Well, that was because he got basically booted from SEC. Big Ten kept him for 1 year, basically, and he was like, "Okay, I'm going to retire." Then, screw it. Hey, how long has he been broadcasting? I mean, it's time.
I grew up listening to Gary Danielson.
Yeah, retire. It's fine. Go off into the, go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Brad Nessler needs to go right behind him. God. Nessler used to have a little bit of fire punch, but now he just doesn't have it anymore. It's like, yeah, time to get some new blood in there. I just get tired of these 12:30 games, man, because that's all I grew up on, man. Isn't that right, Brett? It was always a 1 o'clock kickoff at Autzen Stadium. You could guarantee it on the book.
Right, but I also remember that when they started going to the afternoon games, people were pissed off because they were getting home too late.
Right?
Yeah. So people bitch no matter what.
See, I miss the night games. I thought USC should have been a night game.
Well, no, we always used to have 1 o'clock games, and then TV came in, and so we started having the afternoon and night games, and there was a huge outcry, especially from people from Portland, it was huge. They were pissed off. They wanted everything to go back to 1 o'clock. And
yeah, because they didn't want those 7:30, 8 o'clock after dark night games.
Right. And now that we've had a bunch of afternoon and night games, now people are bitching. And then now we've gone back to the 12:30 games. Now people want the night games again. My point being is that whatever you don't have, you want, and then you get it, and then it goes. It's just there. I don't know if I made any sense there.
No, you made perfect sense. Perfect sense. I mean, trust me. As I've lived in since I'm starting covering the Ducks, like doing the stuff, the shows here. I've lived in Central Time, but I've had to do some when I was on East Coast time. Like doing a post game at like 1:30 in the morning East Coast time, following like a Stanford game, is hell.
Right.
Absolute hell. But there are those moments where you're like, this should be a night game. Like USC, Oregon, Washington should be a night game. Pac-12, old Pac-12 after dark. There are those games where it should be that. I don't mind
Yeah.
like a nice 3:30, 4:30 Pacific kick. I think those
Yeah.
are great because it's not super late for me and it's good for everyone else. But I think a nice 1 or 2 night games a year is fine, just not every week.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
I
always,
did.
I
I
always like
did.
to tell the people that bitch, I say, well, then get motivated, make enough money to buy the TV network, and then you can make the schedule.
Yeah, I did. I did both 6 o'clock Big Ten games that we've had. I did Michigan State last year, although last year I got a hotel and stayed the night. But this year I was a glutton for punishment and took my friend to her first ever game, and we went down to the Minnesota game a couple weeks ago. And I got home, and needless to say, I got home after spending a couple of hours with D'Anthony Thomas and a few others over the tailgate. Needless to say, I got home at like 3 in the morning.
Right. Yeah. No.
That-
I think it was Minnesota. I got home 2:30 in the morning. Yeah.
That's why we didn't do a post game that night because it was the game ended at like 11:45 my time. I was like, man, I got to work in the morning, so let's push this till tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
No doubt.
after it was almost 10:30 by the time we left the field and went over and tailgated for a little bit and waited for some of the traffic to clear out and then made our way up I-5.
I still
Okay.
don't want to ever hear you bitch though, Spaz, about that because the worst thing still was that me walking out of the Texas Tech game, not being able to get an Uber, no cell service at all for like an hour, and I'm like, I'm on the way back, boys, and I walked the 5 miles back to do the live post game with you. So I don't
Yeah.
want to hear you bitch about things like this again.
Well, and yeah, and then if people are complaining about stuff, they need to go to a Penn State game. We went back there. We didn't get to the hotel until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
What?
And yeah, and then we ran into a guy the next day that didn't. He was just getting to the hotel at like 11 o'clock when we were checking out because you
Where
couldn't
did
get
he
an Uber
pass
from the
out?
stadium.
You
He ended up
couldn't
having
get it
to
right.
walk and hitchhike. Yeah.
Oh God! See, telling you,
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
telling you, Tech is not near as big as Penn State. So yeah, and it's if I
So
couldn't
how
get
long
an
did it
Uber,
take you guys to get an Uber out of there?
Well, the reason we got, I had rented a car. We drove into Penn State and parked, I don't know, a mile and a half from the stadium in a residential neighborhood, walked in and then walked back to the car after the game. And even doing that, then we granted our hotel was in Harrisburg because getting a hotel in State College was, I think they wanted like $1,300 for a hotel room. So we were
Yeah,
in
somebody said it
Harrisburg.
was nuts.
Yeah. So, that's, what is it, 85, 90 miles away. But still, we didn't get there until 5 in the morning. But there, I had dropped the people off that were with me and just said, wait here. I'm going to go get the car. I trekked back, got the car and got back to him. And they were talking to some other people. And these people were stranded. They couldn't get Ubers.
Wow.
Sorry, but we gotta head out. I can't help you there.
yeah, I think
Damn.
that was one of the things we thought about was getting a rental car in Lubbock, and I was like, no, we'll be all right. It's like 5 miles away from the stadium. Well, yeah, that didn't work out so well after the game. Obviously, a rental car would have been.
So yeah, we've got it so good. We've got it so good in Eugene. I mean, the atmosphere at Autzen, the getting to the games, getting out of the games. I mean, it's I mean, you don't know what you have until you experience something that's way worse, and you're like, oh man, we've got it so good.
I got to experience a high-speed chase the last game.
Really?
It was like, I think it was about 3:30. It was, people were tailgating already and whatnot, and I think the gates had just opened to the Mo, they probably or so, They hadn't been open for very long, and all of a sudden, we start hearing sirens, and they're getting closer and closer and closer. And next thing you know, you look down to MLK, and you see this big old truck with a quad in the back of it, all strapped down, just flying around the corners. And here comes like 6 cop cars from both directions, and it was insane.
Wow.
They went flying. I mean, thank God nobody was crossing at that time anywhere, because they would have gotten hammered.
Oh yeah,
because they were probably doing 80.
Yeah, that's freaky. With how many
going by Northgate?
How many people are? Wow,
thousands.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fortunate nobody got hurt.
Luckily, nobody was crossing at that time. So, yeah, it was nuts. We're all over there going, "What did we just witness?" Because that's not
Right.
something you see every day at a tailgate or the football game.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
The I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Well, of all things, thinking of going back to Bryce really quickly here and talking about you guys growing up a Duck fan. I don't, Brett, if you remember correctly, I don't know if you're remembering this. This is Hate Week. Is something you could tell us about the history and your realization of just how much we hate the Huskies? Because those dogs need a reality check.
You know, I've never been a person that has a bunch of animosity. I've always been, take it as it comes, give people the benefit of the doubt, treat people the way you want to be treated, show people respect until they disrespect you. Just, do the right things. And we went to a Husky game. Oh, it was in the late 80s, early 90s, probably 90, 91. First time I'd ever been up there. And we stayed at a friend's house that lived up there. And I remember opening up the sports page, and one of the local sports writers had written a column. And it was like, you're from Oregon if. It was kind of like, you're a redneck if. And, 1 through 20 column. And it was like, you're an Oregon fan if, you're a piece of shit, you're a this, you're a that. And I'm just like, what? I mean, my God, these people think that they're just elitist. And we're just, we don't even have cars in Oregon. That was like it was like the gist of the article was we're, basically mutants that have crawled out of the sewer to come up here to come up to the ivory towers of Washington and, to soil their stadium with our putrid beings. Was like, I'd never been more offended in my life. And so we go to and this is in the sports page. I don't know if it was the Seattle. I don't know what the main Washington paper was up there at the time. So, that was my initiation into, the fans up there, what they were like. So we go to the game, and it was beyond brutal, and we got spit on at the game, and I swore I would never go back. It's like, this isn't worth it. I didn't show up for this. I came up here to root on my team and have a good experience rooting on my team, not to deal with this. So they definitely do not like us, to say the least. Now, I would imagine that there's probably Oregon fans that treat Washington fans like crap when they come down here to some degree, but I have never witnessed it. Have you?
No, Chris and I were talking about that earlier. He says, I know there's, because he was talking about how, he had a couple friends that last time they got full plates of nachos dumped on their backs, not once, but twice during the same game, all over their jerseys and stuff. And they go to talk to, after the second time they went to security, And even security looked at them like they were dumb, like they were retarded or something. Like, yeah, and just ignored him. And he's like, I don't want to go to the game and experience that. So, because he's like, in my age now, he goes, them's are fighting words, you know? He's like,
Right. Yeah.
hey, you start throwing food and drinks on me on purpose and shit, it's going to cause a problem.
Right.
So I want to go in a group. If I'm going to
Yep.
go to a game, I'm going with a group of people, because if I'm in the middle of a bunch of them, and who knows what could happen.
Yeah. So yeah, there is huge extra incentive, because I'm not a get in your face, lash out at you type of a guy unless I'm severely provoked. And
Same.
But and even if you're taunting me verbally and whatever,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, take it with a grain of salt, but it still gives me great pleasure when our team stands up for us on the field and puts them in their place.
Like for instance, no problem with like the Texas Tech game. I was like 5 seats away from the aisle, and next to us was the student section.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tech student section was, luckily I was in a group of a pretty solid group of Oregon fans right behind the bench for the Oregon team. But the student section right there was just constantly every time like, yo, go home, you're done. So when the game ended, we were like, bye.
Right.
Bye to all the, but there was no drinks being thrown. There was no, it was just a it was just a formidable banter back and forth amongst Oregon and the tech students. That's fine. That's what sports is about. That's what the atmosphere you're going into. But the Huskies hate us. We hate the Huskies though too. This is true. This has gone back for decades.
Well, we were so bad back in the 70s and early 80s that I don't know if they hated us because they just kicked the crap out of us all the time.
Yeah.
I think it started in the mid to late 80s when we started getting good and could actually compete with them. And then that, at least, maybe, because I graduated from high school in 87. So I don't, and I went to my first Duck game in like 83. So I just remember every year if we won 3 games, it was a great success.
Yeah, right. The biggest success was just winning the Civil War. If you could just win the Civil War, it was a successful season.
Right.
And then the trajectory was just.
Yeah. Well, it started that we qualified for the bowl in Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana. Was that the Freedom Bowl? Or no, it wasn't the Freedom Bowl. That was like the second bowl. Independence Bowl.
Independence Bowl, yeah.
Independence Bowl. And, luckily the athletic director at the time had the foresight that he used the momentum of that bowl game, because Oregon hadn't been to a bowl game in 20 or 30 years. I don't know. Yeah. It was a long time.
It was a long time.
And going to that bowl game gave just a spark. It was like the spark that lit the fire. And, then it just started building from there.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
This is our resident Beaver fan here.
Clint Moses.
What did he say?
Rivalry built on Nike money in 1991.
Well, I know. If it wasn't for Phil Knight, we would be the Beavers.
Yeah.
Oh, shots fired. Whoa. That wasn't us, Clint. Shots fired, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously. Yeah. If it wasn't for Phil Knight, we would be in the same boat that they're in.
Yeah. 100%. And we don't deny it. That's the thing. Everyone's like, but it's like Husky fans and the same as USC fans. I think USC fans are worse than Husky fans if you look online.
Oh,
Oregon lives rent-free in both of those team fan bases' heads, like just rent-free all the time. But USC is actually worse than Washington. USC talks about Oregon nonstop.
Huh.
There's only two
Nonstop.
Washington people.
Well,
There's
I
only
guess
two Washington people that I have issues online with on a regular basis that are always talking duck crap and whatnot year round. But there's like a dozen USC people that they just can't live out of our heads.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just wild. It's always like, oh, the O means for 0 national titles. You know, like the same old. They don't come up with anything new. Ooh, if it wasn't for Nike money, it's like all I hear is jealousy.
Right.
That's all I hear is jealousy.
Yeah. Yeah. No. What else could it be?
Right? Are you guys going up Saturday?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So
that's
we'll
gonna
see
be a
now.
nice setting.
The last time we were up there, it wasn't nearly. We didn't get spit on or have anything thrown on us. So hopefully we'll have that experience this time, where people are thinking a little bit more rationally than it was back in the early '90s.
Yeah.
That's a great setting, though. I will say, if I could get up to Washington for that type of game, I would love to, because that is a great stadium, and
Mm-hmm.
the surrounding with the water. Oh, I mean, that's a great setting.
Oh yeah, they. I mean, you have to admire the passion that they have. I mean, they have passion for their team, just like we have for our team. So
Yeah.
but it is very much, very, very, very much a great feeling when we beat them. Because of all the bad blood that I've experienced, like thrown my way. It's like, yeah, let's get this victory, because it's kind of personal, and not because I started it, because I've never started anything in my life.
After the last game, after the last visit up there, it still left a bitter taste in my mouth. And one of the things I've noticed over the last 3 years is that it seems to be when Lanning has an issue with a team or whatnot, they come back the next time and he just takes care of it.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a dogfight. You know, it's a heated friggin' rivalry, and we better be ready to go, man. I told Bryce, I said, you better be ready to go. You better friggin' cinch up that chin strap and bite down on that mouthpiece, because it's gonna be a football game.
It's a rivalry game, and I know I've said this over the years, and a lot of people say, oh, well, rivalries, you know, that's just a term, that's just a word, these are different teams every year, blah blah blah. It's like, that's still there. There. It's a rivalry game. Things happen. People are passionate about this. Players, fans, everyone's hard-headed and passionate about these things.
Well, it feels like the energy from the fans somehow gets transformed onto the field. I don't know if that can happen or not, but it feels like it, because it's like the fan bases are so rabid that the teams go after each other.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Dan Lanning's such a motivator. It doesn't matter. He finds like one inkling of something someone said, and turns it into, this is what we're doing this week. Like, Spaz is dying to see the Ducks versus them this week for the USC game. He's dying to see it coming up. They put out a little snippet, Spaz, I just saw on X. They put a little snippet out, apparently, like 30 seconds. But
it was a minute and a half,
So for Washington week, I'm assuming there will be something with a win. There will be something in there. Have you seen those, Brett?
Oh yeah, I see him on like Instagram.
Yeah, those are masterpieces. And the bigger the game, the bigger the Ducks versus them they seem to put out. You could tell if it's like the Minnesota one was like, it was all right, but it was like 10 minutes of But you get like the USC game and the the Penn State game, just some of the bigger games like that. They just, even the media department does a better deal on that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, have you guys experienced any of the I want to say PR department. I don't know what you call it. Like the department at Oregon that does all of that stuff for Oregon. Have you experienced any other universities? Does anybody
No,
else do what we do?
There are
there's a
some.
couple, but
Yeah,
nothing. I haven't seen anybody that competes near ours.
not they don't put the time or money investment into it like Oregon does.
Okay, because I mean, yeah, our production. I mean, it's like a movie production. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's prideful. I mean, it's like wow. I mean, Oregon is doing stuff. They're doing stuff right. And I guess if you don't have that, it causes people to want to piss all over what you're doing. But hey, man, it's like they're doing it right.
Well. There's only one fan base that I know that's publicly put on TV someone pissing at their game, and that was the Beavers. Sorry, Clint, you're in here talking smack, and that was your fan at that game pissing on the pole in the rainstorm for like 30 seconds on TV. Yeah, no, Oregon. I think this is the thing. It's a continuation of Oregon, like the uniforms, the innovation of offense. Now the social media stuff, they're just continuing to like escalate themselves in other areas where everyone else is then going, oh, we need to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just kind of a continuation of a program seeing the future where they can do, because those videos get quite a few views.
Yeah.
So they get publicity. It's not just fans, it's also recruits looking at going, this is what it's like in the background.
Yeah.
During the coaching meetings and all that stuff, and it's good stuff. I love the behind the scenes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, one of these years I'll make it to one of these years I'll make it up north to the Husky rivalry game.
You're in Washington.
Huh?
Get up there, you lazy ass.
Yeah, well, I gotta be able to afford to get to the game. This channel don't make me enough money yet. It barely gets me to the Duck games in Eugene.
How do you? So what's the process to get? You said you had gotten your media pass or your.
Yeah, so we used to be on another channel. This is our first year doing our own channel. We were with another media company that has like several schools that have shows like this for representing their school or whatnot. And I got my media credentials through them this year. Because initially we broke off from them in September, right before the season started. So late August. So we were still with them, and I got a media pass and went to the first two games. And after that, it was hard to get one because it's my first year. So there's only so many spots up there. So as it got, to the bigger games and whatnot, it was like there just wasn't no availability. So then I have to revert back to the old school. I got to get the connections or, buy a ticket here and there. I went to 4 games this year.
Okay. So, but to get that pass, you have to get it through your employer, or you have to have your company.
Yeah, theoretically, you got to be represented through a media outlet that Oregon's SID recognizes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you can't be like the guy off the corner that lives a block away and go, "Hey, I want to be a PR guy or a media member." And they're like, "Cool." When you don't do anything, you have to have some sort of substance and backing. You
have to have something behind your channel. Like now we're having to build all up, and next year hopefully I'll still be able to get one next year. But now that we're on our own little thing, who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll see
But I
how that
figured
goes.
I got in the door this year, and then next year try to go in under my own.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we'll
how-
see. Maybe maybe you can have a renewal too. It won't be just 1 year. You
Right.
can have a renewal just under the same thing. I don't know how that works. That's way above my head. I've never even
Mine
tried to do
too.
media stuff.
I was just shocked I even got it this year. 'Cause I tried last year, but I had gotten involved too late. You have to get a media pass or even a process. You have to start in the off season and let them know that you would like to go for a pass that next year. And then so like by March, April, you've got to be like, yeah, I want to try to get a media pass, and you got to fill out forms online and stuff. But if you wait till August, you ain't getting in.
Okay. Now, what's the process to be a podcast? I'm just curious because all this stuff, like, I haven't kept up with technology. I didn't have computers we didn't have computers when I was a kid, and the first one I experienced was in college, and that was just as a word processor. So,
Right.
to be a podcaster, you have to get. What do you do to do that?
Anything you want. Anything
Anything
you want. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, literally, like when we did that little test setup with you earlier, where we got you into the studio for the first time, and I was like, audio is good, it's clear. Right now, there's a crackling noise. I don't know what that is or why that is. It just started the last like 10 minutes, but you can do podcasting, videos, anything you want on any media that you have, like phone. I have like a Rode mic, which is hit or miss. Spaz
Right.
uses his headset. You can use just earbuds with a microphone. That's all it takes.
Huh.
Legitimately, that's literally all it takes. You don't have to do anything. We started this channel up in 24 hours. Spaz hit me up and was like, hey, let's do a show tomorrow. I'm like, let me make all the banners, hold on, and do all the background stuff. And so there is a bunch of other things that can go into it. But if you're just doing a podcast or whatever, like you want to do a podcast or like a real simple streamlined show, you can just launch it immediately.
I'll be darned.
It just takes time to build.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And we're real, I knew this.
I'm going to start a podcast. I was just curious as to how the process worked. I don't know. I like learning about stuff, and when I see something I don't have any knowledge of, it's easier to ask a question of somebody that has experienced it than to.
You have any questions at all about any of this, you can easily reach out to Spaz and I, and we can help talk you through and set you up with like a YouTube channel or whatever. As in the podcasting, when you want to combine stuff or whatever, like that sometimes takes membership. Not membership, but like if I wanted to multi-stream to X right now or Twitter, you have to have a certain amount of subscribers over there to then be able to live stream over there. They have a requirement or something like that. It's that's a different deal. But if you want to know how to just do this stuff, even just through YouTube and go live, we can show you that stuff. No problems at all.
Okay.
I can help you with that stuff.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just curious, but no, yeah, if I ever have any questions, I'll definitely reach out to you guys. So is this how McAfee started doing what you guys are doing?
Ooh, yeah,
I believe so. He pretty much was doing it was all on YouTube, and then ESPN picked him up after that because he just started getting followers and more followers, and he would just streamline a show on YouTube.
Okay.
Which, of course, McAfee obviously already had a name behind him for professional sports, but then also, I mean, you look at him and you see that personality and that, like, just what he does, and you're like, I see why he got popular.
That guy's a nut.
Yeah, he's taking his shirt off at 6:30 in the morning. I'm like,
32 degrees in Eugene, and he's pulling his shirt off. I'm like, you're insane.
I don't have that type of energy. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, he definitely has energy. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and he's like, and I smoked your beautiful trees, and it's just like there's no pulling punches with that guy. He doesn't care. This is who I am. I'm gonna drink my drink, and I'm going to smoke my smoke. And if you got a problem with it, you could just buzz right off. And that's just the way he is.
Well, and
Yeah,
ESPN
yes.
obviously allows him to have a bunch of leniency. I mean, he's sitting there next to Nick Saban doing what he does. And Nick Saban comes across still as kind of a classy guy.
Right.
In the most part, you know, Nick Saban ain't taking his shirt off on TV, so he sits there and holds the chair for him, even like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. It's funny to see some of the expressions on Saban's face when he looks at him like, what in the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah. Did you see that? I don't remember where they were, but earlier in the year, they were somewhere. I think it was Miami, and he went way up like 50 feet in the air, and took his shirt off, dropped his pants. All he had was a Speedo, and dove into this like pool like 50 feet down to end the show.
Yeah.
That was nuts. That guy is insane.
Yeah. Well, that's, you guys need to get somebody to do stunts like that on your show.
Right? Yeah, people have said I could do it probably.
I was about to say I think the best we could do on this is probably get a cameo, one of those cameo.com videos.
Yeah.
It'd probably be like some celebrity wrestler threatening people, subscribe or else.
Right.
But they're like gray haired and retired, so everyone would be like, that's not even threatening.
Right.
Hey, you know, I heard a rumor that somebody was, I don't know if I don't want to say this if it's complete. I don't think I dreamt it. I think I heard this somewhere that Ric Flair's daughter is trying to bring pro wrestling back. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh no, it's. Oh, that's funny you asked that. That is actually one of my good friends, and I do some behind the scenes stuff with him. We are currently relaunching Portland Wrestling under the old Portland Wrestling logo with Roddy Piper's daughter, Teal, on December 28th.
Okay.
Right here in Vancouver, around the corner from my house.
Okay. I have Portland Wrestling as a kid. I loved that stuff.
Yep. We are relaunching the Portland Wrestling brand. One of my good friends, he runs the Portland Wrestling YouTube channel and Facebook page. Over 25,000 people are on there on a weekly basis. And we decided to go at it, and he talked to Don Koss shortly before Don Koss died, and Don said, hey, if you want to take on the logo and the legacy, by all means, restart. And so that's what we did. We're bringing Len Denton, the grappler, in on the 28th as well, and a few other surprise guests, and we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a shot.
When's the first match going to be?
December 28th.
Okay. Yeah, up in Vancouver somewhere?
Yep.
Not far off.
Yep. We just made the announcement this morning. We sold out. The first 2 rows are completely sold out. Like nice. 110. So far we're like 125 seats sold.
Nice.
And we still got a little over a month.
Where do you go to get tickets?
I can send the link here and bank it.
You put the link out. I'll repost it. I think you should be a mod, but if you're not, you put it in StreamYard or whatever you have to do. I can repost it as a link.
I believe it's tixtree.com.
Okay.
Cockroach noise. Hey Spaz, surprising note too. I almost applied to be a referee for a local Houston wrestling club. They just didn't pay, and then they just said expect to be exposed to violence, as in you will be basically hit with chairs, and you don't get paid. And I was like, fuck that. You gotta pay me to get hit by chairs. I'm sorry.
You're right. Yeah, no kidding.
You gotta pay me something. I mean, at least give me like $40 for the night or something like that if I'm getting my head crashed in.
Right on. Yeah, no kidding.
Here's a question. Here's a question. Tony, one of our great Duck fans, is in the chat. I'm sure this is, but yeah, has Bryce been scouted by any specific NFL agents or teams? I know there's always NFL agents, team agents in the crowds during especially large games, but is there any, I guess, behind the scenes kind of secret word of like this team's really looking at him kind of thing, maybe?
It's not. Baseball is. It's different. Baseball is really open. Before the baseball draft, he had a list. There was probably 20 teams that had reached out to him and talked to him. And the interesting thing about that is the Astros were not one of those teams, and then they were the ones that drafted him. But football is they just keep it really hush hush. Apparently, they don't want anybody to know what they're thinking. So, no, it's not like baseball. They do a good job of keeping stuff in house. Apparently, because they don't want the opponents to know what they're thinking and steal a draft pick. I don't know why it's so open in baseball but not in football. I don't know, but it is different. I don't know if that answered the question or not.
I think that gave a general answer where it's like, yeah, he's getting looked at, but we don't know by who specifically or for what reason.
I mean, yeah, I know that I've gone online and looked. They'll have the reports of who the scouts are looking at the games, and so I definitely know that they're looking at him, but I don't know specific teams. I would imagine maybe all of them. I don't know. I mean, know who he is anyway.
Yeah, it always comes down to draft, and with draft day too, it's always like, well, okay, they're projected first rounder, great, but then does that team really need that, or do they have another need in front of it?
Right.
It's kind of like you could be the number one overall pick, but the number one overall pick team doesn't need that position.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, the NFL is. I mean, it's the same as baseball in a way, but yeah, I guess the NFL is like secretive until draft day. Anyways, draft day, everyone kind of knows what everyone needs and wants at that point. But
well, I think it's also baseball. Maybe I'm sure that it's happened, but I couldn't name anybody that it's happened to. Meaning a guy that was drafted and went right to the majors. They all go to the minors for a certain amount of time. It seems like
usually at least 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
And then also there's a lot of guys in baseball that are drafted really high that never make it to the majors.
Yeah.
Where football, you get drafted, you're going right to the show right out of the gate. Now, obviously, you have to make the team, but it's pretty rare that you see. I mean, I don't ever remember seeing a situation, where top NFL draft picks didn't make the team at least for a year or two.
Yeah,
there's
at least a year or two. If you're a late round, you might get cut even, but then you'll be brought onto the practice squad or picked up by another team for at least a year or two. Or something
even Jamarcus Russell made it for a year or two.
Right.
Jamarcus.
Right. So
he didn't last very long.
Yeah, that would be an interesting question for somebody that's in the know in baseball and football. Why baseball is so open with what they do and football is so closed. But it could be, like I said, because they know they're going to the minors and they don't feel an urgency to keep their stuff quiet, I guess, versus the NFL where it's more hush hush and secretive.
Yeah, even like with even like with college football, like we were talking earlier, and injuries and stuff. And baseball, know about injuries, and they don't have no issue in releasing injury reports and stuff. But in football, man, it's like you can't get nothing out of Dan Lanning on an injury. If they're good, they'll go.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
But this is not new too either. Chip Kelly was always the same way. Chip Kelly was secretive about injuries. And he's like, I'm
Chip
not
Kelly
talking
was-
about it. I'm not talking about it. Dan Lane's just kind of continued it, and then the Big Ten guidelines are just like
Chip
the
Kelly
day
was like
of.
one of the first ones that really started
Yeah,
hiding the
and
injuries.
a lot of other people started doing the same thing. So it's not
Yep.
just Dan Lanning. It's kind of a widespread now.
Well, I would think the reason that they do that they don't divulge that is because you only have so many hours in the week to practice, and you want your opponent to have to prepare, even if they're preparing for a ghost that's not going to play. Then that's time and energy they're wasting. And so if you give them that tip, hey, they know that guy's not playing, well then they can use that energy somewhere else. So you don't want to give them that insight.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. It's practicing for a ghost, potentially.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have DeCorn and Moore playing on the outside, instead you've got Cooper Perry, for instance. They just wasted a ton of time focusing on protecting that side of the field, potentially, instead of the other side. So
the way things are going, they'll probably, because I think the NFL requires teams to give a list at some point, don't they? Like you have to declare who's in and who's out by
Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
So I would imagine eventually it'll.
Whereas in college, you like in the Big Ten, you have a year or 2 years? Not year, an hour or 2 hours prior to the game. I think it's like 2 hours prior.
I was about to say a year. We're Spaz. What are we doing here? We're not trying to do history over here.
No.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 or 5, like 3 or 4 hours. Points. That's not enough time to make changes in what you've already prepared to do.
Yeah, Big Ten's 2 hours. Troy just
2
said.
hours. Okay. Yeah, you can't change the whole game plan the morning of when you've already practiced and worked on these things. That you what are you going to do to flip the whole field? I mean, like you can't do it.
Yeah,
so it's an offensive advantage knowing okay, this receiver's out, but they're going to focus maybe if he's back. So now we're going to work the middle of the field instead, like as a change up. So it's advantage. I don't know if they're going to change that, but maybe.
Right. Well, you got any last thoughts for me, guys? I'm about ready to turn it in here.
No.
Well, you're that's a perfect. I like how you brought that in because I was literally about to be like, I have to go use the little boys' room, so I was going to leave you two alone. But yeah, no. What are your expectations for the Ducks this season? Going forward, then, Brett, real quick.
All I care about is beating Washington this week. At this point, it's because if we don't, we've left. It's out of our hands at that point. So we got to take care of business this Saturday, and we take care of that, and then it's a brand new season. So then we can reassess our expectations after that. Right now, all it is Washington. It's our whole season right now is Washington.
Yeah.
So that we don't take care of business, and all of a sudden the season looks a hell of a lot different. So this is our Super Bowl this weekend. I mean, obviously it's the mid-season Super Bowl. We get through this one, and then it's a brand new season. So we got to get through this one.
Yep.
Fair point. USC was a hurdle, but Washington is a final.
And you want to get through.
Yeah, if we don't beat Washington, then the USC victory doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like somebody was saying earlier, we could end up backdooring into the Big Ten championship because they're expecting snow in Ann Arbor. So we shall see.
Well, yeah, I'm not worried. If we beat Washington, the worst case scenario or best case scenario is we host a playoff game. I mean, I'd love to be a part of the biggest game in the history of Autzen Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A playoff game at home. I mean,
Count me in. I'm calling all my favors in for that one. Somebody
Yeah.
hook me with one.
No one wants to play at Autzen in a playoff game. Almost
No.
whoever gets that draw is going to be like, oh,
I want Alabama or Notre Dame. Call me nuts, but I want Alabama or Notre Dame at Autzen Stadium.
Yeah, I don't care who it is, but I would love to experience that. I mean, that's lifelong Duck fan getting to experience a playoff game at Autzen. I mean, I can't think of any Duck fan that wouldn't want to experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
I'm sorry. Win or lose, it would be just the atmosphere of seeing that type of the venue get its recognition, and it would be phenomenal. Tony thinks Oregon versus Georgia or something like that. I don't think Georgia's on the line, but Notre Dame Bama is a possibility. So that would be fun. But Georgia would be fun to have a Kirby Smart have to take on Lanning
If
at
it's
home.
a 6-11, it could be us and Bama very easily.
Yeah.
The most likely it would be a 5-12 and like us against James Madison or whatnot. That'd be great. That'd be a great little.
Poor James Madison.
Poor James Madison.
Not say they're a bad team. James Madison is a good team. James Madison is a good team. I'm not downplaying James Madison. Don't underestimate them. But
right. Well, yeah, that's the key to sports. The easiest way to lose a game is laughing at your opponent before the game starts. So,
Yes.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, you don't take anybody lightly. But yeah, that's the key to this season is beating Washington. The key to this season is beating Washington because we do that and it'll be a success.
Yeah. And then maybe we can get you and Bryce on together after that.
Yeah. All right. Well, sounds good, guys. I'm getting tired.
Yep.
Get to the bathroom.
Thank you.
And good talking with you.
no
Yeah,
problem.
we'll definitely stay in touch, and we'll maybe do it again during the postseason.
Okay. Sounds good, guys.
Thanks
All right,
a lot,
man.
Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
You bet. Have a good night. All right. Bye.
You
You
too.
too. He's got it again.
He did it again,
He
yeah.
got it perfectly. Well, that was fun. I do have to piss myself now.
Tony, don't manifest another Oregon Liberty game.
Tony, stop denying it. You watched that Liberty game. You watched it. Stop lying.
Hey, best case scenario for Oregon, it is a 5-12 against a James Madison.
Whatever gets you warmed up, I guess. I mean, trust me, I don't want to see it either. But you're not gonna. You're in the playoffs. You get a home game. Take it. You're not gonna turn it down and be like, James Madison. Fuck that. You're gonna take it. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the audio there. I was referencing here Glenn with the clackety clack. I was like, I don't know what happened to his audio there at the end, the last like 30 minutes. It was all of a sudden it's like click, 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 and I was trying to fix it in the background. I don't know what was going on with that, but it wasn't terrible at least. At least it went away when he was talking. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like technology, right? Hey, that was his first time on a live stream, at least through StreamYard.
Yeah.
So hey, give it credit. We had to do a little walkthrough earlier, a little test run for 10 minutes just to do a little test. And oh hey, not bad for someone who doesn't deal with that stuff. So hey, not bad. But yeah, thanks for Brett Boettcher coming on here and giving his time up this evening and talking to us on this impromptu kind of thing. Because what was it last night, Spaz? You called me at like 10 p.m. You were like, you don't have a show tomorrow, right? And I'm like, well, yes, but not set up yet. And you're like, no, you do not have a show tonight or tomorrow night. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, it came.
I did not come yet.
No, it was released an hour ago.
What, the Ducks versus them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, now you have to wait 2 more minutes before you go jerk yourself off in the corner watching it.
Yeah.
This is early for this to come out already. Damn.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it until like Wednesday morning, so they put that shit out fast.
No shit.
I get
I
maybe
was
they have
expecting tomorrow evening.
maybe they have something special coming up as a pre Ducks versus them for Washington. Or they just expect this one to be a long ass video for Ducks versus them for Washington.
Oh no. 17 minutes.
Nope, that's the full video. Yeah, that's the full. That's the full one. But maybe this week they're planning on doing other things for the Washington game. So they were like, let's get this shit out quick. Damn, that's a lot of editing to do in
48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, fuck me. Oh, Tony's calling it out here.
Oh shit. He could go back as an analyst, and if Heartline gets picked up, he could he could get the OC back, because him and Ryan Day have a very big connection. So that's possible. He's not going to North Carolina.
This off season is going to
be insane,
wild with the amount of coaches available.
Yeah,
and openings. Like, yikes! And then you add, of course, Chip Kelly back on the market. I think Chip Kelly maybe just taking a year off. Be like, fuck it. Does the man need any more money?
No,
for fuck's sake.
No, I think he's good.
I saw a photo of him earlier. He's full gray.
Yeah.
Full gray now. Not even like salt and pepper. He's full gray. The man needs like a year off maybe to like relax. Go swimming. Like and chill out or something. Fuck. Lord. Well, Spaz, we have hopefully we hear from a guest for tomorrow night, on Tuesday night, or at least for Wednesday, depending on their availability. Otherwise, we're rolling tomorrow night as we look at Hate Week and we look at the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, it has to be tomorrow night because I'll be at the Cup game Wednesday night. So
you know what? You can go fuck yourself.
I'm sorry.
Literally, you can go fuck yourself while you watch Ducks versus them later. You can literally take 2 fingers, spit on them, and Tony, no fat shaming here. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Then we'll be back tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Same time, right here on the Quacking Off channel to do the Washington preview for this week of Hate Week. Hopefully, we will have a guest. If not, you will just get to look at Spaz and I's beautiful faces, maybe in this view. Ooh. Oh. It's actually not that bad. Now that we've done it for a whole show, it's actually not that bad. The first time we tried to do this, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No. I thought it did well with the 3.
With 3, yeah, with 3, with 3 to 4, with 3, it's perfect. With 4, this layout works better. Yeah, this layout works better. So, great interview, great grab there, Spaz.
Thank you. Thanks again to Chris Newell for hooking me up with Brett. That was a good interview, and hopefully Chris will give me good reviews as well on it.
Yeah. And we learned some new things tonight. I didn't know Bryce.
Yeah.
I didn't know Bryce did quarterback in high school. So that was like, oh, I feel stupid.
Yeah. And he switched to outfield in college.
Yeah, that another surprise. I was like, because I thought he was just a natural outfielder.
Yeah, apparently
So,
not.
hey, more knowledge. That's what we needed here. And I like that. I like learning. I don't mind being proven wrong or told something I don't know. Because hey, if I'm wrong on something or I didn't know something, let me know.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can get him and Bryce on together, maybe in the off season or postseason, something like that. That'd be awesome, even for a little bit. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, appreciate Brett coming on here tonight and talking for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, that was wild.
But also everyone here, again, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. This is Thanksgiving week, so I will say it once, I will say it twice, and if I don't twice, I want to say it now so I don't forget. Happy Thanksgiving week to everyone. I will be cooking Thanksgiving tomorrow on Tuesday for ourselves here because I work Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm like, fuck that. So I will be doing Thanksgiving cooking on Tuesday. I don't want to deal with that shit with work.
Thank you, everybody. We try to do the best we can, and gotten 2 now. Maybe get a couple more in the future. Get some more, another parent or some players. Yeah.
It's always great when a parent takes, like we started the show. It's like when you're a parent of a player, especially like at Oregon on the stature of Boettcher, I bet they're just as busy to some degree as some of the players. Like,
absolutely.
Or just trying to avoid the limelight also.
Right.
Like just trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
So, well, everyone, thank you coming in tonight. Again, just hit the like, subscribe really quickly on your way out. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow night on Tuesday for the Washington preview show. And other than that, Spaz,
I just got to do something.
Back to the cage to plan for tomorrow night.
Why? What are we going to do tomorrow night?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. That was actually that was a perfect timing for that, because exactly that's where my brain is going immediately. Like,
yep. Prepping for tomorrow.
God. All right, everyone. Thank you. We will see you tomorrow night. But Spaz, it's 8 week and no more than appropriate time for it, because as always, no matter what day of the year it is,
fuck Washington.
Fucking Huskies.